Bill O'Reilly here. You are listening to the O'Reilly Update. Coming up next, the news with Mike Slater.
Thank you, Bill. It is Monday, April 8th, 2024. Here's what's happening today in America. IDF recuperate. Missouri death row. Truck overturned. And the final two set. It's all coming up. Then Bill's going to be here with your message of the day. But first, the Israeli military has withdrawn its ground forces from southern Gaza. They say this has nothing to do with the pressure that they've received from the White House, but the timing seems suspect. The IDF, Israeli Defense Forces, says the 98th Division is leaving the Gaza Strip to recuperate and prepare for future operations. Hamas, of course, is taking this as a massive victory. Israel has faced a lot of international and Biden White House pressure about starving the civilians in Gaza. Worth noting that there are about 3,000 billionaires in the world, and many of them we know, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg. But there's also Musa Abu Marzouk. He's a former leader of Hamas. He has a net worth of $2.3 billion. There's also Khalid Mashal, another former leader of Hamas worth $2.6 billion. And Ismail Haniyeh is the current leader of Hamas worth $4 billion. They don't seem to care much about the starving children. Missouri plans to execute a death row inmate tomorrow night. In 2006, he murdered his cousin and her husband. He claims he was in a drug-induced psychosis and alcohol-induced blackout. His clemency petition says he accepts responsibility, has a spotless disciplinary record in prison, and works as a barber for the correctional staff, a position of immense trust. In his corner are 70 correction officers, 5 jurors from the penalty phase of his trial, a former Missouri Supreme Court justice, and 3 Republican state representatives. Even many of the family members, including some of the family that he murdered, are against killing him. What would you do if you were the governor? A truck crashed and overturned in Oregon. 53-foot truck, sharp turn, fell over an embankment. The driver survived, and so did most of what was in the back of the truck, even though the contents of the back of the truck spilled out everywhere. How did those contents survive? Well, 100,000 salmon were tossed right into the river. No word yet on how this will affect the ecosystem of the new river that they were thrown into, and how this will affect their original destination that is now 100,000 salmon short. Tonight, 9:20 Eastern, we got UConn versus Purdue. The average margin of victory for UConn this tournament has been 28 points. One thing to watch tonight is the UConn center is a giant, 7'2", 280 pounds. It just so happens one of the few people on this planet bigger than him is the center for Purdue, 7'4", 300 pounds. Bill O'Reilly has your message of the day next.
Everything is expensive these days, you know that. The government is printing trillions of dollars and consumer prices higher than ever. If the government continues its printing and spending, the dollar could continue its free fall, but there are a few things you can do right now. American Hartford Gold can show you how to protect your money, your retirement, your hard-earned savings against inflation by helping you diversify a portion of your portfolio into physical gold and silver. Start with a short phone call, and they can have physical gold and silver delivered right to your door or put inside your 401k or IRA. Call 877-444-GOLD, 877-444-GOLD, or text GOLD to 65532. Again, that's 877-444-GOLD, or text GOLD to 65532. Time now for the O'Reilly Update message of the day. On this Monday, I am a big free speech guy. I make my living that way. But the phrase at the end of the day has to be banned. $100 fine if you use it. At the end of the day, we will not say at the end of the day anymore because it's giving everyone a massive headache. Same thing with it is what it is. And you're amazing. And all good. And no worries. Unbelievable cliches. Those phrases have infected the entire country. Now, why am I so opposed of cliched free speech? It's because it diminishes clear thinking. If you use the same phrases over and over again, you are not thinking, you are reciting. You have memorized something, and it's boring. I cannot listen to these sports interviews because every second baseman, every hockey goalie, every center in basketball says, at the end of the day, we just want to win the game. I got it. Don't say it. I'm Bill O'Reilly. I approve the message by writing it. You can reach me, Bill at BillO'Reilly.com, Bill at BillO'Reilly.com, name and town if you wish to opine. Now let's go to the mail. Vincent. Bill, do you believe that if Trump is elected, he can start to turn things around? In some ways. Certainly the border. Certainly he can turn that around. The economy, is Trump going to be able to lower prices? Probably not. But he did a lot better job than Biden's doing economically. Jim Yasko, Trump-Tulsi is a winning ticket. Her debating Kamala would be a must-watch. But that's never going to happen. So Biden's never going to debate anybody. That means Kamala can't either, because if Kamala did, that would embarrass her boss. Why isn't Joe debating if Kamala's debating? There's not going to be any debates unless Biden doesn't run. Bill Emery, Roanoke, Virginia. Democrats love COVID is giving them power. They can better control us. That I believe is accurate. So the Democrats like the pandemic because it centralizes power in the hands of the federal government. And that's what they want. Vince Solano, Illinois. Hey, Bill, isn't entering a foreign country without a passport a crime? So why is our government flying illegal immigrants into our country without passports? Sounds like a crime to me. But you don't have the information because you're on right-wing websites. That's what I'm assuming, Vince. Here is the truth. If you apply for asylum in a port of entry, okay, or in a U.S. consulate or embassy abroad, and the federal government decides to hear your case, they will allow you to fly to the USA, but you have to pay for the airline ticket. So the government's not flying you anywhere. You can come here and petition the court if and only if your petition is filed in a foreign country. Now, that's not what the right-wing websites are telling you, but you just got the truth here. In a moment, something you might not know. If you own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles and have an auto warranty about to expire or have no warranty at all, listen up. Car Shield has a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that's now available to the public. Save on out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. So please call Car Shield now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. 800-925-7584 for a free quote. Drivers who activate the vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing and car rental options at no additional cost. So please call for your free quote, 800-925-7584, 800-925-7584. Hey, what do you have to lose? 800-925-7584. Now, the O'Reilly Update brings you something you might not know. As Joe Biden's approval hovers in the mid-30s and questions mount about his cognitive health, some Democrats are demanding a swap at the top of the ticket, and it is not Vice President Harris. Can Michelle Obama replace President Joe? Here's a brief background on her. Born January 1964 in Chicago, Michelle Robinson grew up in the city's South Side. She attended Princeton, then Harvard Law. She met Barack Obama in 1989. The two married 1 year later. Since leaving the White House, the Obamas have made at least $200 million. Michelle alone received $65 million for her memoir, Becoming. That book, a global bestseller, has been printed in 100 languages. The former First Lady currently charges, ready, $200,000 a speech. And some corporations and foreign governments pay that. In 2018, the Obamas signed a deal with Netflix to produce a series of documentaries and feature films. That agreement is now worth another $50 million. So the question remains, does Michelle Obama actually want to be president? Last month, she appeared on the Jay Shetty podcast and said this.
What's going to happen in this next election? I am terrified about what could possibly happen because our leaders matter. Who we select, who speaks for us, who holds that bully pulpit. It affects us in ways that sometimes I think people take for granted. And we cannot take this democracy for granted. And sometimes I worry that we do. Those are the things that keep me up.
And here's something else you might not know. Should Mrs. Obama choose to enter the presidential race, she has a good chance of defeating Donald Trump. Latest polls show 59% of registered voters hold a favorable view of the former First Lady. That figure falls to 42% for Donald Trump, 38% for President Biden. Back after this. Did you know Fast Growing Trees is the largest online nursery in the USA? With more than 10,000 plant varieties and millions of satisfied customers. I have their trees and plants at my home, and they're fantastic. Have you had your fair share of landscaping woes and wasted weekends at crowded nurseries? Finding fast-growing trees will be like stumbling upon a hidden treasure, believe me. With fast-growing trees, it's different. From fruit trees to houseplants, they have it all delivered right to your doorstep. Plus, their plant experts are always available for advice. And here's the best part. This spring, they have up to half off on select plants. And my audience can get an extra 15% off by using promo code BILL at checkout. So please go to fastgrowingtrees.com, use promo code BILL at checkout. Thank you for listening to the O'Reilly Update. I am Bill O'Reilly. No spin, just facts, and always looking out for you.